My review of the Beach Boys concert is released in 1964, produced by Brian Wilson. So I don't usually do live albums, kind of trying something new. Just I thought that the Beach Boys would be a good band for me to start trying to do live albums with, and maybe I'll go back and review some live albums for some of the bands that I've already done at some point, but I don't know. I still don't have a lot of time right now, so I'll see how that works out. But anyway, I thought I'd start reviewing live albums with the Beach Boys, so we'll see. Maybe it'll be a thing I do more often. Maybe I won't do it after this. I don't know. But they're still not going to be. I'm not going to rank the live albums when I do my rank the album video after all of my reviews. I'm going to leave the live albums off still of that. So this album, I don't exactly. I don't remember when I bought this CD. It would have been sometime when I was getting into the band. I don't think this was one of the first ones I picked up because I read reviews of all the albums before I bought them all, so I kind of knew which ones people liked and which ones people didn't. And this one, even though the CD version comes with Live at London, which is one that I like a lot. This concert wasn't one that was super highly recommended from what I could tell, which is actually kind of surprising because I guess when it came out it was #1. I think it was one of the really first big live albums by a rock band. But it's one of those albums I think gets criticized because not all of it's live. There's from what I understand, 2 of the tracks on here are and I'll mention which ones when I get to them. They're just studio tracks that have been slightly altered with fan noises added to them, or crowd noises. And you can tell I think a lot with those ones. I think for the most part though, the rest of them are live, but they, maybe even touched up a little in the studio afterwards. But there's actually a live concert on YouTube of the band around this time period. I think it's called I can't remember what it's called, but I think it's from 1964. And it kind of shows that they actually did sound pretty good live, and probably wouldn't have needed a whole bunch of work to sound like they do on this album. So that I actually kind of prefer watching that video to listening to this album, just because some of the song choices on the video are questionable too at that concert. I feel like they were just making questionable set list choices at this point, but I don't know. It's just kind of cool to see him play live instead of just hear it. But the album starts with Fun, 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 and it's one of the tracks that, according to this this book, I'm not really sure how accurate it is, but somebody got me this a long time ago, and it has a little section on concert in it that I just read before I did this. And at least according to that, Fun, Fun, Fun is one of the tracks on the album that is just a studio track that's been changed a little bit and had the crowd noises added in. And you can tell definitely when I was listening to the album earlier today, I was like, this doesn't sound live. It sounds like the studio track basically. The second song, Little Lady from Pasadena, which I think is a cover. I'm pretty sure it was a Jan and Dean song, wasn't it? It's kind of one of the songs, cover songs, that I don't mind that much on this album. This album has I don't really understand, because they had a lot of good songs out at this time, but for some reason live they were playing a lot of covers that were just kind of questionable in my opinion. This one though, I actually kind of like. I think it's kind of silly, but it's catchy. I think they play it well. I think the singing's good. So I've always liked that one. The third song, Little Deuce Coupe, it's kind of cool because it has the intro from Mike where he kind of introduces the band and who plays what, and they kind of build the song up slowly with first just the drums and then the drums and the rhythm guitar, which you can barely hear the rhythm guitar of Al Jardim on this song, but you can hear it. Some people I think act like you can't hear it at all, but it's there. It's just really quiet. But anyway, they also do that in that live video, and it's pretty cool too, and you can actually hear Al better in that one. The fourth song, Long Tall Texan, is one that I've just never liked. Always thought it was kind of like pretty dumb. Fifth is In My Room, which is great song, and it's pretty good live. Works well. The sixth song, Monster Mash, another kind of silly cover that this one doesn't bother me as much as Long Tall Texan, but I still don't really listen to it a lot. The seventh song, Let's Go Trippin', is an instrumental. It's not bad, but not really like a standout track. The eighth song, Papa Oom Mau Mau, another kind of dumb cover that I'm not crazy about, that I don't really listen to that often. The ninth song, The Wonder, another cover. It's Dennis's vocal. This one I actually like. I think it's cool that Dennis had a live song that he got to sing live. So I've always liked that one. 10th is Hawaii, which I really like the song Hawaii. I really like this version of it. Probably close to my favorite track on the album. The 11th song, Graduation Day. It's got some nice vocals, but they kind of have some like dumb attempts to be funny like in it. I feel like that don't really work out, except for in the end when Dennis kind of like yells out "day" early. That actually is kind of funny. But some of the other stuff they do and it isn't. Then the 12th song, I Get Around, is the other track that is like really clearly not live and just like an altered studio track. And it's a good song, but it's kind of like, well, what's the point of just hearing a slightly different studio track? Then the 13th final track, Johnny Be Good. I think it works for them doing a Chuck Berry cover, because I mean they're Surfing USA is basically a Chuck Berry cover with different lyrics, and they did a lot of like Chuck Berry style song and guitar stuff, especially early on. So it works, I think, and I like the way they play it on this one. It's kind of sounds like they play them pretty kind of like sloppy, but I think it works, and it's pretty cool. And probably actually my favorite track on the album. So kind of closes with my favorite performance on the album. So overall, though, I'd say concert, it's kind of mediocre, so I'd probably give it a 2 out of 5, just because I feel like some of the song choices are weak. Some of the covers, like Long Tall Texan and Papa Oom Mau Mau, just like not really a fan of either of those songs. And then just kind of like having the studio tracks on there that aren't actually live, like that kind of takes it down a little bit for me. Like I don't really care that they took live stuff and then went and like tried to make it sound better. Like that's fine with me, but kind of just taking like a completely studio track and adding crowd noises is just kind of, I don't know. I guess it's not that much different, but it doesn't sound different enough. They sound too much like the actual studio versions for me to really want to listen to them any more than I'd rather just hear the regular studio version without the freaking crowd noises. So yeah, 2 out of 5. Not their best live album, but it's worth checking out because it's one of their earlier albums, and it's one of their albums with Brian when he was still playing live with them. And I mean, he's on other live albums, but this is the only one where he's like a central figure live, and where he's playing bass for the whole album. And so yeah, it's cool for that, but there's that video on YouTube of him playing live like this in like the same lineup around like the same time. That's probably better because it's actually the live show and you get to see it. But so I guess I wouldn't really recommend like going out of your way to get this album unless you find it with the twofer with the Live at London like I have, because Live at London's pretty cool, and I'll talk about that some other day.